than to be sorry. Let's now bring you a viewpoint from Finland. Joining me on Gravitas tonight is a very special guest, Pekka Haavisto, the Foreign Minister of Finland. He's joining us from Helsinki. The European countries like Italy, France and Germany are among the worst hit. How is Finland coping?
Well, unfortunately, corona is also spreading in Finland, and we have recognized something like 3,000 cases. We are a country of 5 million people, so 3,000 is quite a lot. And unfortunately, we have around 60 people who have passed away due to the corona, and we have increased our capacity in our hospitals and so forth. And of course, we are one of those countries in Europe which are keeping the borders currently closed, and so it's really influencing people's everyday life. Actually, even the Helsinki district is now closed, so you cannot move from Helsinki, the capital, to other parts of the country.
Year after year, Finland is ranked #1 in the Global Happiness Index, and 2020 is no different. What is it like to be the world's happiest country in times of a pandemic?
Well, of course, if you ask today the Finnish people, we have just had our Easter holidays and everybody has been at the house or with the closest family and not moving or not traveling. I think you cannot really see the happiness too much in the country, but at the same time we are already looking what could be the exit strategy at this moment, and somehow looking also the positive outcome of this crisis. And while we are suffering, of course, the COVID-19 ourselves here, we are looking very much how our European sisters, our brothers are doing, but also how our friends in Asia, like in India, and how our friends in Africa and Latin America are doing. And I think this is a crisis that we really have to join our forces together, and there is not the possibility that a single country would win the coronavirus. We have to win it globally.
Finland is being called the best prepared of the Nordic countries. One report says that you never stopped stockpiling since the Second World War, always preparing for a disaster like this. Is this right? Was Finland always prepared for a pandemic of this proportion?
Well, to a certain extent, yes, we have this kind of legislation for this type of situations, and this legislation was passed very rapidly in the parliament, and parliament was very united, so no political troubles on responding to corona situation. And the second issue is also that, yes, we have a big piles of all kinds of material, mainly for the war situations and defense situations, but of course it includes a lot of medical materials as well, which can be used in this kind of crisis. But I think one issue that we have not been so prepared is that when you want to have this cover on your mouth, and only a couple of countries are really producing these, countries like China, and we are in the same queue with many other countries to buy these products from China.
Medical supplies remain a huge challenge for most countries. Finland currently needs about 500,000 surgical masks per day, and the ones you bought from China were not hospital safe, according to reports. Did your government take it up with Beijing?
Well, actually, it's an issue that is currently under investigation, that what has exactly happened and so forth. It's also a little bit unclear if probably all the documents were correct and this were not meant originally for medical purposes. But this is something that we are currently investigating, and already the next planes from China have arrived, and we hope that material is good quality, and that is our estimation. And this has been, we can see that this has been a wider phenomena during the corona crisis, that some medicines and some materials produced for this moment are not filling all the criteria.
Do you think leaders across the globe should demand accountability from China?
Well, I have been thinking myself that if, let's say, it's not of course scientifically proven, but if, let's say, the source of coronavirus, COVID-19, is the wet markets and selling animals alive and even wild animals and these marketplaces, this is an enormous cost for such a trade. And why shouldn't we and wouldn't we globally develop something, an alternative to this? If it's a question of people's livelihoods, if it's a question of the food chain, I think it would be more profitable to to have the good cold chains and fridges and electricity for those villages that are still pending on the wet markets and animal markets and so forth. And I think it's a global challenge. We should face it globally, but we should already think those steps that can be done globally. And I'm very much looking towards the UN and towards the WHO, World Health Organization, that they could make initiatives. What should and could be the steps to avoid the next pandemic? And also, I think the lesson learned from this is that we have, of course, seen SARS and we have seen Ebola and other diseases which are even more deadly diseases. And maybe the situation was so that this was not deadly enough, so to say, that this was spreading more easily and we didn't notice it. But that I think the lesson learned is that we should have been reacting at the very early stage globally when these news from Wuhan started to come around and so forth, when we still could isolate the virus and globally do something, action together. And I think this of course falls to the responsibility on each and every country to report at the early stage on these kind of phenomena, and then the international community, particularly the UN, to do common action.
A Forbes report has a very interesting observation. What do countries with the best coronavirus responses have in common, it asks. The answer is women leaders. Iceland, Taiwan, Germany, New Zealand, Finland. This pandemic is revealing that women have what it takes to deal with tough situations. Your thoughts?
Well, I have to say that we really have in Finland a woman as a prime minister, and she has, Madam Sanna Marin, she has been doing excellent work. And of course, there are always people who say that you should do more and you should do things more rapidly. But when you look actually the statistics of Finland, particularly the death statistics, it's very moderate at the moment. And we feel that we have been doing quite well in this situation and have been taking big responsibility of our citizens.
Thank you very much, Pekka Haavisto, the Finnish foreign minister, joining us from Helsinki.